Hi, everyone. I'm Dave, and welcome to episode 17 of Lowlights. This week, I talked to Rep. Chris Deluzio of Western Pennsylvania, Steelers Nation represent, one of Congress's rising stars, and just as importantly, recent star of the Congressional Baseball Game.
Let's just start with the fact that a bunch of old dudes and women playing baseball at a major league ballpark on national TV is an insane idea.
He talks about his time at the Naval Academy.
Look, I remember wanting to go pursue something like this. I loved Top Gun, so maybe I'd go be a pilot. But so I was pursuing this. I'm a senior in high school when 9/11 happened.
Serving in Congress with four kids at home.
Thought it was important to say, hey, there are dads with young kids with parenting responsibilities who are serving in Congress, just as there are moms who are doing this. And you know what? We shoulder those responsibilities too, and we ought to be able to talk about it and share those stories with people.
And his ideas for economic patriotism. What is economic patriotism, and why do you think that that's an important idea for people to understand?
Yeah, I'll start with, look, I talk about the common good as this idea too, right? We are in this together. Our shared prosperity matters, right? I care about my neighbor as much as I care about anybody else.
After the interview, Gevin and I get into Major League Baseball and play a trivia game about America's favorite pizza toppings. So let's get into the interview and then stick around. All right. The man, the myth, the legend, Representative Chris Deluzio from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, from the Keystone State. Thank you so much for joining the Lowlights podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you getting Commonwealth right. As a Massachusetts guy, you should know this.
Oh, well, you know
well
it.
Done.
You know. I had to. I would never live it down if I got Commonwealth.
Good man.
So, look, you're known for many things. You're an incredible representative for your district. You're a rising star in the Democratic Party. You're a Navy veteran. There's a whole bunch of ways that we can describe you, father of four. But I think, Chris, we both know that for me, your most important distinction is as a pitcher and catcher on the Congressional baseball team. And so I guess I just want to start there. What did it feel like to break off whatever nasty pitch that was that you got as a called strike and strike out a member of the opposing baseball team?
Yeah, let's just start with the fact that a bunch of old dudes and women playing baseball at a major league ballpark on national TV is an insane idea. It's great. We raise all this money for charity, and you get to relive the childhood dream that didn't happen because baseball ended in high school. So it's great. And look, I'm a catcher. I played catcher through high school. I was a catcher, and I showed up to Congress and I could throw, and the question was oh, wow, you can throw? I was like, yeah, guys, but it's been 20 years since high school, and the response is only 20 years. And it tells you how old people are in Congress. So it's been awesome. I love it, and I'm just tired of losing to the damn Republicans, and we'll get them next year.
Mm-hmm. I feel that way about a few things that we could be talking about, Chris. But okay, on this though. So yeah, for people who don't know, this is the Congressional Baseball Game. It's played in National Park in DC, in a professional baseball stadium. And so the last thing I wanted to say about this was, number one, I would have just been worried about striking out. That would have been my number one concern. But instead, you almost hit a ball out of the stadium in the most recent game. When you hit it, did you think it had a chance to go?
I thought I hit it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Warning track, and then I got a ground roll double, which cool, but had it stayed in, I think I'm taking a 3-bagger there.
Yeah, no question.
And so whatever. I'll hit the gym next year. I want to hit one out. We'll see. But we were down. I think we were down 5-1, maybe 5-2 at the time, something like that. And so I think I led off with a double, and then I think I got a pitch runner in because I was going back out to pitch. I think we stranded me, and I think that was it. We let it. We only scored 2 runs. My pal Morgan McGarvey from Kentucky hit a RBI triple, I think, earlier in the game. So we got to get some offensive production, and I think we're one or maybe 2 bats away from winning this thing.
Well, and that might go into candidate recruitment. All I'm saying, I've got,
Yeah.
I still have a pretty sweet left-handed swing. Just
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Well, you joke
So
like we pay attention to this.
but all right, so Chris, you and I, we've known each other for yikes, over at this point over a decade. That's terrifying. So we got to know each other in law school, also in DC. But that's not where your story started out. So when I met you, you were already bizarrely a Steelers fan, and you had a lot of hometown pride. So tell us a little bit about where you're from, and what that high school baseball career was about.
Born and raised, Pittsburgh area. My parents are my constituents, right? So I get to represent the place and the people where I came from, which yeah, obviously means we're Steelers fans. Um, Also, look, big Pirates fan. When I was growing up, I think I was 8 years old when the Pirates lost the '92 NLCS, which we then kicked off the losing streak until what was that? Till 2013.
Sure,
So
Barry Bonds, Andy Van
yeah,
Slyke,
they
yeah.
unloaded that team after Sid Bream, ruined my childhood in
Yeah, all right.
1992. So like you have the highs of the Steelers are winning, the Pens won back-to-back cups, but then you also have the pain of being a Pirates fan, and so it teaches you some humility about how to root for your team when they're getting the crap kicked out of them for decades. It's a good
Right.
combination of how to learn how to be a sports fan.
Hmm. I mean, well, and also you got to root for Barry Bonds when he was the size of a normal human being. I mean,
Yeah,
that's different than most people's memories of Barry Bonds. Like later in his career, you were there when he was like a five-tool outfielder who was fast and he
yeah.
was this and he was that, and then he went out to San Francisco and who knows why, but some things changed about his physique.
He always had the power. And like, look,
Right.
whatever Barry Bonds did, he's still an
Oh,
unbelievable hitter before any of the
unbelievable.
steroid stuff. Like just insane stats. And yeah, like the other part of that was Jim Leland was the manager, and that team they could have won a World Series at least probably
Oh, no
twice.
question.
I mean, great team. Kills
No
me.
question. No question. And great baseball town, Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and great stadium. For people who haven't been to the Pirates Stadium, that is pound for pound. I'm going to say Fenway is number one, but number two for me is has got to be the Pirate Stadium. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And you're looking right for anyone who's been there, you're looking across the river into downtown Pittsburgh. It's awesome. Great place to watch a game. I wish the Pirates would spend some money, but here we are. Paul Skeens is like this generational talent, and it's terrible.
Yeah, you heard it here. Representative blasts the Pirates.
Oh no, they know they should spend
Yeah,
money.
yeah. But so, all right. Well, so, the next part of your journey that I think a lot of people know about is that you ended up at the Naval Academy. And I guess my question for you there is, that's a big deal for some people who might be like, for younger guys who might be listening in particular, younger, younger people generally who might be listening who might not know this. It takes a lot of hard work to get in. The application process is incredibly rigorous. Did you always know that you wanted to do that? Or did you do you remember a moment when you decided like, yeah, I want to go
Yeah.
for this?
Look, like it's now been almost 20 years since I graduated. I mean, I got in 2001, 2002, right? So it's been a minute. And look, I remember wanting to go pursue something like this. I loved Top Gun, so maybe I'd go be a pilot. But so I was pursuing this. I'm a senior in high school when 9/11 happens. And so whatever, I don't remember the exact sequence of thinking, but I didn't have any doubts after that I was going to do this if I got in. And I got in to Annapolis and I went. And look, shaped my life. I have friends from my time there who I just are some of the best people in the world. I had classmates serve and suffer, and some died in the wars that came. It's a special place. It's a tough place. But man, I will tell you, one of the best parts of my job is I get to nominate guys and girls to go off to West Point, Annapolis, and our service academies. It is an awesome part of what I get to do. And I will tell you again, the kids are all right. Like the people who I get to see who are coming across my desk who want to go do this, they're impressive. And they give you some hope about where the country is.
Absolutely. I mean, I will just say one of the best things I got to do in the White House was the Vice President Harris and President Obama also got to recommend people for these service academies, and we would see those applications come in and get to take a look and pass along. I mean, obviously the people in charge were the ones who were making the decision, but they would ask for opinions sometimes, and you'll never see a more impressive group of people and a more diverse group of men and women with an incredible background, and not just in academics, but also in sports and in their communities, than the young people who are applying, the young leaders who are applying to these service academies every year. You're right, Chris. There's no way to feel better about this country than to see those applications.
Look, it's people from every district in the country. I mean, period. Every state in the union. My classmates, so Navy and Marine Corps, being served all over the world. You've got legit heroes who sacrificed at war, who are my classmates and friends. I mean, it's a remarkable thing. But I will tell you, every year, Army Navy game, I want nothing more than to beat Army, and that is pure rivalry that has no parallel in sport. Thank you very much.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Go Navy, beat Army. And that's, I'm sure, why you will share in my wonderful opinions of Bill Belichick, a classic Navy
He's a Navy guy. Yeah.
Classic Navy guy whose dad was a football coach there. So I think that's probably why, even though you tell people you're a Steelers fan, I'm sure that at deep inside somewhere, you knew that the Patriots and Bill Belichick were you should be rooting for. So thank you for that.
Just think I'm going to say about Belichick, and we'll move on.
But so I guess for people who, maybe just say, like, for people who, I don't know if people do this, but for people who come up and ask you, what's it like to serve abroad? What's it like to be deployed to a war zone? Do you have like a sort of short way? Because that's such a big question and so hard to answer, I'm sure. But do you have a nutshell that you explain to people who don't totally get it?
Look, it's impossible to summarize because everyone's experiences are different, right? I had deployments on the ship, at sea, and that was totally different than my time in Iraq, with a couple sailors and a bunch of soldiers in an Army unit, and even on a given FOB or base, people's jobs and day to day could be totally different based on where they are, what's happening outside the wire. I mean, no one's experiences were the same. The thing that to be honest, I miss more than anything is what that esprit de corps, the camaraderie is like in the unit. And I saw it at sea. I saw it in Iraq. There is nothing like it in the world that I've experienced. And, I talk, if I'm on the stump, if I'm talking to people in my office about, how special that bond is, right? You have really kids, these are young people who were sending off to serve this country from every walk of life, from all parts of the country, who do this thing bigger than themselves, right? Who have to achieve some mission. Like, that's a special thing. And I struggle to think of places where we see something like it. It's just, it's a special thing that I've never experienced since I was out of the military.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I know it's a truism and even a cliche, but it is true that some give all and all give some. And I hope how proud so many of us are of your service and grateful for it.
I see this, and I saw it when I was in. There are young people, and again, it's mostly young people who are doing this, who come into service for a bunch of different reasons. But it should give you optimism about this country that people are willing to serve and sacrifice, coming from all kinds of different walks of life. It really is a special thing.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, look, now you're here. And when I say here, for people who are watching on YouTube, you can see a little bit of like a very sort of office bookshelf behind you, and some tastefully decorated books and photos. So you are now representative, Deluzio. You are representing your district in Congress. And the first thing I want to ask about here is you're actually part of something called the Dad's Caucus. And I would love to hear a little bit about what that is, and how you were able to do your job with 4 kids at home. And yes, you heard me right, 4 kids at home.
Yeah.
Tell us how that works.
So, look, my district, Western Pennsylvania, I fly out of Pittsburgh International Airport, right? So I can get home when I'm done in Washington, let's say door to door, maybe 2.5 hours. I have a much easier commute than, say, someone who's serving from California or Alaska, right? So I can get home easier than most. I can get to Washington easier than most. The Dad's Caucus, right? These are a bunch of my colleagues who are dads who, number one, we care about things like paid family leave, child tax credit, childcare. And also thought it was important to say, like, hey, there are dads with young kids with parenting responsibilities who are serving in Congress, just as there are moms who are doing this. And you know what? Like, we shoulder those responsibilities too, and we ought to be able to talk about it and share those stories with people. And it's as simple as that, right? Like, we care as parents and dads about our government stepping up for families who are working and struggling to make ends meet and also care for their kids. And so, you just happen to be people who are serving in Congress with those same issues to deal with, and figured let's get together and start using that collective voice we've got to talk about the reality of being a parent who works in the world.
Right. Well, and you've used that position too, from my understanding, to advocate for policies that, I think so much when people at home are thinking about politics, they think about the big issues of the day and the issues that are so contentious. But some of the things that you advocate for, I think all parents in this country would be interested in. Like, you're talking about phone-free school policies. So can you just give us a little bit on that?
Yeah.
What's that?
Look, there's just a ton of research, and I think we just know it intuitively that having a smartphone in a kid's lap in the classroom isn't good for anybody.
Totally.
The kids,
Couldn't agree more.
I think, know it's not good. The teachers can't stand it. They're stuck either policing smartphones on kids' laps the whole time in class or have to ignore it. And so, like, let's start with getting the smartphones out of the classroom. It's really popular. Democrats and Republicans both want it out of the classrooms. And so we're working on legislation in DC. I've been sending letters off to the school districts in my part of the world, in my district, to say, hey, what are your policies around smartphones in the classroom? Are you planning to have them banned in the classroom this coming school year? Like, let me know. And so when the congressman sends a letter, they respond, and hopefully they listen. And I think, listen to both the teachers and parents and kids who from the incoming to my office, from the survey data I see, know that having these phones in the classroom isn't really helping folks. And so that, it's part of it. And look, like I mentioned childcare, you talk to any parents, mom or dad, who are working and trying to juggle a job and childcare, and they will tell you that childcare is a ripoff, that it's hard to find, and that we should have our government do something to fix that. Like, this is like a pro-family thing. It's a pro-job thing, so you can actually get to work. And just, the United States does so little compared to nearly every other advanced country to help families out who need some childcare.
Completely. I really do think that we're going to look, the way that we look back at photos from the 50s, or at, a show like Mad Men, and we see people smoking cigarettes in delivery rooms, and we're like, my God, what were they thinking? Didn't they know better? I feel like we're going to feel the same way about kids glued to their phones in the hallways of high schools and middle schools even. We're going to look back on that and think, like, what were we thinking? We all knew that was terrible. We knew it was bad for them. Why did we let this happen? Well, thank you for doing that. I mean, I guess, I have another question for you about your time serving, but just for people at home who are like trying to picture what it's like to serve in Congress, was there one thing that was most surprising? Like, you knew a little bit about what serving Congress maybe was like. We'd been in DC for law school, but was there one thing that surprised you about actually serving and when you got to the office and had your own team?
Well, number one, you got to put together a good team, which is not a small task, right? You got to hire a full staff and office and do it. We're one of 435 in the House, right? Senators, they got 100 of them. They act like they're, the lords and ladies over there. I like the people's house. But I'll tell you, I show up my first day in Congress. I get elected in 2022, and it is Kevin McCarthy's 15-round speaker election. That was my first day in Congress. And I was just like, what the hell is this? Things got weirder from there. And so it's not just one thing, but I had a friend and mentor of mine say to me sometime after the election, I think before I got sworn in, it's like, Congressman is not who you are. It's just the job you have. It's what you do. And I think that's important. People around here sometimes like take this on as their whole identity, being a senator or a congressman or whatever. And it's a job. It's a great job. I'm honored to do it. Like, I believe deeply in serving this country, but it's a job. It's not it is not all you become. And, I'm still Chris and a dad and a husband and all these other normal things in the world. I just happen to have this cool job that means I get to kick ass for the people from my place of home. And I take that responsibility seriously. But like, I think I see so many in this who kind of forget that easy lesson.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of an easy lesson, I would be remiss if I didn't give you. I mean, I know I got a couple more things I want to ask you, but before we get to them, the uh, one of the you sort of, at least from the outside, one of the hallmarks of your time in Congress, especially in this dark time for the Democratic Party, is that you've talked a little bit about economic patriotism, and you are somebody who speaks to us as, you're from one of the cornerstone states in the country electorally. You're in what's often referred to as a purple district and a purple state. And here you are as a voice of reason trying to explain to people what that is. So what is economic patriotism, and why do you think that that's an important idea for people to understand?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with, look, I talk about the common good as this idea too, right? Like we are in this together. Our shared prosperity matters, right? I care about my neighbor as much as I care about anybody else. And this idea to me is all about hardworking people for way too long have had too small of a piece of the pie, and we got to grow the damn pie for everybody too. And like we can do both of those things. And I think that's patriotic to fight that fight. I think corruption is so much of why that hasn't happened. And I see it down here, like whether it's congressional stock trading, I see Trump and his family going nuts on meme coins and everything else. Like corruption rears its head all over the place in Washington. It's a big part of the problem. But it's that at its core, right? That hard people are working hard. They're busting their butts over a lifetime and they can't afford the stuff they expect to be able to afford. I'm talking about a house, childcare, retirement, a vacation, for crying out loud. And so that's a fundamental problem for faith in our government. And I'm trying to do something about it. And there are people like me from tough districts who are Democrats who haven't just won, but outperformed top a ticket in places that we got to win, who've been doing this, who have been pretty clear about fighting the forces that are making life miserable and rip off for people. And I think our party's got to go this direction and look to some of us who've been winning this way.
Yeah. And when you say, outperforming top of ticket, I hope people at home understand what that means is Chris is doing even better than the national Democrat at the top of the ballot for president. Chris is outperforming that person. He's outperforming a lot of other people. And I think it's a testament to you. And, I think even people who are spending, 20 something minutes with you right now can tell you're a pretty good guy. So I hope people get it.
I pay you to say that, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, just tell me that my check is in the mail. I can take I can get on board with a little bit of that corruption. All right. So, look, if I could, I would spend a lot more time talking to you about this because I just think you're like such a, I got to know you in law school because you were a great guy, and I accepted you despite you being a Steelers fan. But I feel like one of the things I learned about you was that you had a lot of interesting thoughts about a lot of things. So, to that point, we finish with all of our guests. We have a lightning round that I'm interested to get your thoughts on. So we have 3 questions that we ask all of our guests, and the first one for you, Chris, is favorite sports movie.
This is like too much to just answer in a lightning round. I'm going to say like 30 seconds of things. Okay, my instinct is to say Rocky, Italian Stallion, right? Like it all makes sense for me.
Pennsylvania
Creed,
hero.
in that universe, Creed is unbelievable. All right. Unbelievable movie. But also baseball has the best sports movies. And I go to like For Love of the Game, Field of Dreams. So I have a hard time saying just one.
Wow,
I know it's a lightning round, but that's where I land.
You're a real Kevin Costner guy. I didn't know this about you.
Oh, and like, look, I'm a catcher, so like Bull Durham just hits. I mean, it's
100% same. Catcher, I don't know if you share this, but I felt like at a certain point, especially when I was thinking of playing college and playing catcher in college, people never say anything when you do your job well as a catcher. They only talk about the like 1 or 2 pass balls you had the entire game. And you're like, well, what about the rest of them that I caught? And they're like, yeah, but that's what you're supposed
Catcher
to do.
is the preeminent position in baseball. It's the smartest, toughest guy in the field. It's the general out there. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyone who knows baseball knows it.
And sometimes pitchers should just listen to you instead of shaking you off when you're like, look, I'm the one who's been watching your curveball game. I can tell you it's not going to go well, but
Look,
Anyway, love
this
pitchers.
Congressional Baseball Game stuff, pitching has been a weird change for many reasons. But also, I'm a catcher, and so I'm like primed to not respect or love the pitcher who doesn't listen to me. It's a whole weird thing.
Yeah. All right. So, second one, music. What's the, when you're working out, in that gym, when you're getting ready to hit a home run over the fence next year, what are you going to be listening to?
Is it pump up music?
It can be, it does, it can also be like, if you're going through a tough time, if you're sitting through 13 rounds of votes for Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah,
like,
I've been in a
what do you
Dropkick
put on?
Murphy's kick lately. So,
All right.
I know you're a Massachusetts guy, so I'm going to give you that. But
I was going to say,
they had a new album drop, I think, like on the 4th of July. So I've been listening to them.
You got to come up and catch a Dropkick Murphy show at Fenway. It's like peak Massachusetts, peak Boston. Great
I'm
time.
into it.
All right. And then when I say comfort food, what comes to mind for you?
Pasta. Period.
All right. Pasta. What on the pasta?
My wife and I make a great big ziti. I just messed around with some carbonara I made over the weekend.
Right.
And then like Sunday red sauce. I mean, that's like, your Italian American listeners will get it.
I was going to say, you're a little Sunday gravy, right? That's what you call it?
We don't call it gravy, though. At least my family didn't.
Okay. All right. I've heard that. Maybe that's like I don't know. I have a couple friends.
No, I think it's more like a New York, New Jersey kind of thing. We just have red sauce.
Yeah, well, all of it's good. So allow the Jewish guy to tell you that pasta with red sauce is good.
I'll take it.
Representative, it is an honor. It is a pleasure. The only feedback I have for you about your tenure in office is we got to start winning some of these congressional baseball games.
We do.
So, get back in the gym, have some team meetings, figure out, what the missing ingredient is. It could be a left-handed hitter from Massachusetts. We don't know.
If you got ball players who want to run for office, listen to this. Look me up. We need some help.
All right. Well, thank you for spending the time. Thank you for stopping by and try to keep your sanity in a city that has fully gone crazy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. And we're back. It's just me and Gevin. You just heard me and Representative, Congressman Chris Deluzio, chopping it up a little bit. Gevin, sorry that you couldn't be a part of it. Summer scheduling is super hard.
So tough.
But Chris is great and such a role model. And I still don't understand how you can have 4 children and also be serving in Congress.
Maybe that'll be your lived experience one day, Dave. You never know.
One can only hope. Gevin. Although actually, maybe I don't know about 4. After hearing Chris, I feel like maybe 2, 3.
You say that now.
I say that now. But speaking of summer scheduling being hard, so Gevin and I are both traveling in the next over these few weeks at the end of July and beginning of August. So we've
in fact, if you're listening to this now, I am traveling.
Right, exactly, and as am I probably. And so we had to hop on and record this a little bit earlier than we normally do. So if there are big news stories, if Tom Brady is unretiring, know that I am somewhere out there celebrating,
crying.
If the Atlanta Braves have gone on a 20-game win streak to get back to about 500, Gevin is very excited.
Not if, but when.
But yeah, and this episode will be dropping actually on the day of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. So at the end of July. So hopefully the Red Sox will have made some moves to shore up the roster and get some good folks on the team. So we'll talk about that in next episode. But first, Gevin, I just wanted to throw it to you because I know for last week's episode, we were actually recorded right before the WNBA All-Star Game. And so we didn't have a chance to really break that down. And I know you had some thoughts that you wanted to go over. So what's on your mind about the WNBA All-Star Game?
Well, yeah, I mean, it looked like it was an amazing time in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark was not playing in the game, but she was there on the sidelines, supporting. The players played some great basketball, Paige buckets, and so many others showing up and showing out. But I think one of the most notable storylines from the WNBA All-Star Weekend were the T-shirts that the players were wearing during their warm-ups that said, pay us what you owe us. I'm paraphrasing, but and it's funny. A lot of people have been celebrating the rise of the WNBA, the rise in the ratings and the popularity, just the value that the WNBA has experienced, the growth in their value. But then all of a sudden, the players start asking for more money, and some of those very same, people celebrating the rise of the WNBA start turning into critics and, saying that, these players, people are quick to point out that the WNBA lost $40 million last year. So in fact, the players owe the WNBA money, and that's just ridiculous. And, I think two things can be true at the same time. It can be true that the WNBA last year lost $40 million. It can also be, true that WNBA players deserve to be paid more. And I think if we take a minute to actually take a look under the hood, I worked, on collective bargaining issues in sports at the NFL. What's true is that the WNBA, they're on the cusp of renegotiating their collective bargaining agreement with the WNBA Players Association. And right now, there's a great tweet. Hopefully we can, maybe put it up on the screen that broke down a lot of, the numbers here and broke down the financials of what we're dealing with. Right now, WNBA players receive about 9% of the league's revenue. And by comparison, in the WNBA, that number is at 50%. And in the NFL, the number is close to that as well. So what that means is that there's a lot more parity in a lot of the other leagues in terms of, the players versus the ownership and how they're sharing their money. But there clearly is nothing close to that in the WNBA, right? And so I think what we need, what needs to happen in the WNBA is that in this next round of labor negotiations, as the WNBA and the Players Association sit down, come to the table and iron out a new deal, that number, that 9%, needs to go up significantly. And something that gives me hope, that should give, WNBA fans hope, is that there will be some major renegotiations in the media deals as well that the WNBA has with the broadcasters. So the WNBA should be making a lot more money from those media deals, and I think there should be a commensurate rise in the revenue share that the players get from that as well. So I believe that we should not detract from the players' arguments here, and in fact push, for the players to get a greater share of the revenue, recognizing that WNBA is about to eat when these new media deals come to fruition.
Right. And that's what I was going to say, exactly that, Gevin, is that often because I'm a lawyer, but my and I've been in politics, but my brother Ben, shout out Ben, is an incredible showrunner in Hollywood and a TV writer, and his new show, The Institute, has premiered on MGM Plus, and everybody should be watching it, and it's great. It's a Stephen King book that's been turned into into this show. But in Hollywood, when they're negotiating their labor deals, they have to look ahead at what's coming. And so, about 15 years ago, when there was a writer's strike in Hollywood, it was because the writers union saw that streamers and streaming platforms were going to be the future of how people were watching TV shows and movies in Hollywood, and that in 2007 that wasn't totally true, but now it is, right? And so they did the same thing where there was a writer's strike a couple years ago, which my college roommate and dear friend Raphael Bob Waxberg, shout out Raphael, who created BoJack Horseman, he was one of the union leads in that fight, and they were saying then, well, AI is going to be the future. We need to worry about AI. We need to make sure human beings are still paid appropriately, and that studios don't just use AI to write shows and movies. And so, and design the content. And so I think that what you're seeing in the NBA is very similar, where these stars and what the league is doing and how much and how quickly it's growing, that's going to be reflected. Even though right now, today, it might not be. Like last year, the revenue for the WNBA might not have been what it will be in 10 years. When you're negotiating an agreement that's going to be in a place for a long time, you need to think about that, and you need to do that. So shout out to the players in the WNBA, and to these players for taking a risk, knowing that the public backlash would be what it is, that they still were willing to put themselves out there and make their case, and look to the future, I think was really smart. So, all right, moving on, the NFL training camps are open. And I know, Gevin, that this is like Christmas in July for you.
I know.
You're Mr. NFL.
Or Hanukkah.
Or Hanukkah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so that's big news for NFL fans. And I'll just say, I'll say number one, Gavin and I plan to do maybe an AFC breakdown and then an NFC breakdown for people who might not be following the NFL that closely or who are. We're going to try to talk through some of the upcoming storylines and teams to watch, and give out some predictions that will look silly in a few months. But I will just put in a quick plug here. I'll be honest, I don't love going to NFL games always. I'm sorry to admit this, but sometimes I do. It's expensive and it's often cold if you're going to a game in most of the country.
Not in Atlanta.
November, December, January, not in Atlanta.
Not with a retractable roof in ATL.
But even then, like, I just feel like your view in the stadium of the game is sometimes a little iffy. It depends where you're sitting.
Yeah.
But your view at home is so good, and the zoom in angles are so good that, like, anyway. But my point is, training camp for at least for the New England Patriots is the future Super Bowl champions this year. Spoiler. Training camp is free. It's free to park and it's free to attend, and you can see the players from a couple hundred feet away.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right up there watching them practice. And anyway, it's very cool. It's the kind of thing that I think a lot of people don't think of doing or attending. But I have always loved it. It's a great time. So just if you're interested, take it, just Google where your team's training camp is being held and whether you have any interest in going. So,
and if you're a Falcons fan, you don't need to Google it. I'll tell you right now. It's at the Falcons training facility in Flowery Branch, Georgia. So make a trip out of it. See all that Flowery Branch has to offer. But I agree, Dave. I've been to training camp. It's a fun time.
Yeah. So, all right. And do you want to give anybody I don't know, a storyline that you're looking at this point, Gevin, or
no? It's too early. It's too early. Let's say
all right. We'll save it. We'll save it. Think of that as a teaser, for our great content upcoming in future episodes. But all right, and so to close out this highlights, Gevin, you hit me a few weeks ago with some bagel trivia about people's favorite bagel orders. As you know, I continue to be angry at my fellow countrymen / at Grubhub because I'm not 100% sure that I believe that blueberry bagels are the most popular bagel order in America.
But Grubhub, if you'd like to sponsor Lowlights, we love your ranking.
We love your content,
accurate.
And you guys are brilliant.
Keep it coming.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to you, Gevin, but I'm going to try to go somewhere more reliable for this. So one of my favorite foods is pizza. I know that you're a fan as well.
Yes.
So
and not only am I a fan, but to all the listeners out there, I'm actually about to depart for Italy, so I should be eating a lot of pizza over the next few days. Or right now, when you're listening to this episode, I'm eating some pizza in Italy.
and that's how you know that he hasn't gone yet. Because Gevin's going to come back and he's going to be like, the pizza. He's going to be working on his accent.
And 10 pounds heavier.
Exactly. All right, so. My question for you, Gevin, is according to YouGov, which is an actual reputable polling site, according to a YouGov poll in, I believe, 2023, what are Americans' 5 favorite pizza toppings? Go.
Well, first, let me say I didn't know YouGov polls on pizza topping preferences.
You didn't?
I didn't.
You didn't know that?
You learn something new every day. Okay, so I'm going to start with the classic cheese.
So I'm going to give this one to you because number 4 on the list
margarita
is extra cheese.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I'm gonna give you credit for that one because I think that's in the spirit of it. So
so we're talking like toppings over and above cheese, essentially.
I think that's right, but I'm going to give you credit for number 4.
Okay, extra cheese, great. Pepperoni.
Pepperoni is number 1.
Number 1.
Evan, 24% of people in the survey say that pepperoni is their number 1 pizza topping. Very good. So you have 1 and 4.
Okay. Give me veggie.
I cannot give you veggie.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. There is a topping in the top 5 that would be one of the toppings in a veggie pizza, but a veggie pizza is not in the top 5.
And one more clarifying question. Are we talking pizza order? Like, for example, a Hawaiian pizza. That's not a topping, but it's an order. So are we talking orders or are we talking toppings, like discrete toppings?
I think we're looking at the list. We're talking toppings, but
Okay.
I think, but pineapple's on the list. It's not.
Got it.
I won't tell you where it is, but it's
Okay.
on the list. Pineapple's on the list.
Okay. Give me peppers.
Peppers, not in the top 5. On the list, but not in the top 5.
Onions.
Onions on the list, not in the top 5.
Okay. Sausage.
Boom!
Okay.
Sausage is number 2 on the list. 13% of Americans say that sausage is in their top 5 favorite pizza toppings. So you've gotten pepperoni, sausage,
and extra cheese
and mushrooms. You got top 4.
Oh, okay. So mushrooms.
Number 5. You need.
Okay. One of my all-time favorites is buffalo barbecue chicken. So give me barbecue.
Boom! Chicken is number 5.
All right.
Yeah, way to go.
Nice.
All right. So that is the top 5, and then I've got one bonus question for you.
All right, hit me.
What is Americans' least favorite pizza topping by an overwhelming majority? Least favorite pizza topping.
It's got to be anchovies.
This one,
it's got to be anchovies.
Is correct. Overwhelming percentage. 29% of American adults say it's their least favorite.
I think
second least favorite,
olives.
Jalapenos.
Oh, really? Okay, I was
jalapenos
olives.
Jalapenos at 8%, olives at 3%.
Okay, I think ordering anchovies on your pizzas is a red flag. So,
I mean, I hear that.
Don't tell me you're one of those whatever percent of Americans who orders anchovies on their pizza, Dave.
No. I hear that. I mean, I would say the thing for me is it's basically, my feeling is if you make the pizza well, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah.
But if you don't make it well, it's not going to be good. And I know that doesn't sound very sophisticated, but like what I'm saying is a veggie pizza, for example, can be delicious. Like sometimes just a green and white pizza, with like pesto or spinach or whatever, and a white base on the pizza can be delicious. But if you make a veggie pizza with like a bunch of raw vegetables and they leak water all over the pizza as it's cooking and it's a soggy mess, like I don't want to eat that. So that's basically what I'm saying. You gotta make it well, whatever you make. All right. Well, good game.
Cool.
Good job.
Thank
you so much, as always, everybody, for listening. Thank you for following and subscribing and leaving comments. We really need that. I know we say it every week. I know you're annoyed probably about saying it to you every week, but we wouldn't say it if we didn't need you to do it. And other than that, we'll see you right back here next week. And we hope you all stay safe and have a great middle of your summer.
Bye, everyone.